Wanna play?
Here's Johnny!
I need a bigger boat.
What's your favorite scary movie?
We have such sights to show you.
It's alive! It's alive! It's alive!
Hi, I'm Chucky. Wanna play?
Hey everybody, welcome back to Wanna Play. My name is James McKenna, and today we're going to be doing yet another collab. So I've done a collab like this where it's 3 of us in quite a while, and today I'm going to be collabing with guys you've already seen on this channel. You already know them. It's Mike from This Is My Design and Luigi from Horror Things and More. And what we're doing today is we're starting a new kind of collab series within the 3 of our channels. This video is going to be uploaded to all 3 of our channels. And what it's going to start is basically the top 10 greatest moments in various different horror franchises. So we can do stuff like Friday the 13th, Nightmare on Elm Street, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Leprechaun, anything like that. But today, we're starting with Halloween. Halloween is one of my favorite franchises of all time. It's possibly the first horror franchise that I ever actually completed watching every single movie. That and Child's Play are the only 2 where I'm like, I don't know really which one that I finished first. But Halloween, to me, is just one of the best horror franchises out there, so I thought, what better franchise to start out with than Halloween? So the rules for this is basically just, it's in the Halloween franchise, if it's a scene, if it's a moment, if it's a shot, if it's a line, anything, then it can be put on this list. If it's in the Halloween franchise, anything from part 1 in 1978 all the way to 2018, it's available to be put on this list. So today, as I said, we're doing the top 10 greatest moments in the entire Halloween franchise. So without any further ado, let's get straight into it. But as usual, before we get right into this, we're going to be doing our honorable mentions, and my honorable mentions are going to be from Halloween H2O, the window stare down scene. This scene is probably the most iconic shot, at least in the movie. There will be another scene from H2O later on the list, but this is easily the most iconic shot from the entire movie. Of course, from Halloween 2, the hot tub kill, one of the coolest kills in the entire franchise. It's just great. The practical effects are awesome in this kill. Another kill from Halloween 3 here, that is Bud's death, the little kid, you know, when the mask melts on him and you really get the idea of just how crazy Colonel Cochran's plan is with this giveaway at 9. Of course, from the classic Halloween, you got Bob's death. One of the most classic and iconic kills from the entire film, the entire franchise, really. And of course, finally, Michael Myers' mask coming out of the shadows in the original Halloween. It's such a cool shot, a cool moment in the film, and it's so classic. And I think that it deserves at least an honorable mention spot.
And for my honorable mentions, I'm going to be giving out 3. The first one is going to go to Halloween 2018, and that is going to be Dr. Sartain's death with the head stomp from Michael Myers. It's definitely one of my favorite kills in the whole franchise, but when I thought about it, if this was a best kills list, it would definitely make the list. But in terms of best moments, I didn't really seem like it ranked up quite as well as the other ones in terms of a moment. A kill, yes. Moment, not so much. My other honorable mention is going to be the closet scene from Halloween 2018. That is a scene that where the babysitter is closing the door, trying to close the closet door because the little boy had said there was something in his closet. He was scared, and she tried closing the door. It kept popping open, and eventually Michael pops out, and a hellacious scene ensues, of course. I was just talking to the guys about this, I think, last weekend, and the fact that it was spoiled in the trailer took all the wind out of it for me. Had that not been in the trailer, it would have made my list, and I believe James, I think, said that as well, if I can remember correctly. But yeah, so because it was spoiled, it ultimately ended up not making the list. And my final honorable mention is going to come from The Curse of Michael Myers, and this is going to be the strobe light freaking murder scene of the doctors in the hospital. This ultimately is an honorable mention and not a moment because Usually, I like my kills to be on screen. I don't like them being kind of off screen and all the flashes and stuff. It leaves a lot for the imagination. But for all those reasons, I can also say it is very positive. It was a fun moment. It was a good moment in a film that I really didn't enjoy all that much. So those are my honorable mentions, and of course I want to give a huge thank you to James and Luigi. You guys are absolutely awesome. You guys are good friends, and I'm grateful to be on your guys' channels, so thank you so very much.
So my honorable mentions is going to be the Halloween's 3 kill, when he punches through the one guy's chest and all that orange stuff comes out of his chest and his mouth. If you guys know what I'm talking about, if you guys seen Halloween 3. So yeah, it's gonna be my honorable mention, guys.
So coming in at number 10 from me comes from Halloween 2018, and that is Oscar's death scene. There were a lot of standout scenes in this freaking movie that I could have chosen from, but for number 10 on my list, I've gone for Oscar's death because I think this is just the coolest death in the film, one of the coolest deaths in the entire franchise. Not the best death, which we'll see, which those are later on, but I think it is absolutely up there. This is also known as the motion sensor scene, where Michael Myers is standing and then the motion sensor lights go off. They come back on, Michael Myers is closer. They go back off. They come back on, and you get that kind of jump scare where he goes out and he slashes Oscar. And it's all capped off when Allison walks back around to see him impaled on the fence. You get that extremely gruesome and gory and disgusting shot. It's insane, and it's all capped off by the amazing sound effect, the amazing new score composed by John Carpenter himself. It just wraps this scene up neatly in a little bow. It's great. This scene is one of the best scenes, I think, in the last 10 years in horror. It's just freaking great, and it comes in at number 10.
So coming in at my number 10 pick is going to be one that I'm not sure if anyone else picked, because I have not seen Luigi's or James's pick as of recording this, but I'm going to go with the shotgun impalement from part 4. Now, if you know me, and if you're a horror fan, you're probably in agreement with me on this, that I love cool, creative, and gruesome kills. And quite frankly, if impaling someone with a shotgun through the frickin' drywall and hanging them on the wall is not cool, gruesome, and brutal, and creative, quite honestly, I don't know what is. And also, the shotgun impalement is also one of 2 fondest memories I have of the franchise when I watched these as a kid. Also, my number 2 pick is also something that I remember highly from my childhood and watching these movies. And I'm not really quite sure, but for whatever reason, I just always remember that shotgun impaling that girl in part 4. And I think it's really cool, and it just shows you how the imposing strength and how brutal Michael can be with a gun without ever even pulling the trigger. So that's why it kicks off my list.
Coming at my number 10 spot is from Halloween 2018, when I forget the kid's name. I haven't seen the movie in like a little bit. I think the last time I've seen it was like a month after it came on like DVD or whatever. It was about like the one kid, the one chubby kid, and like Laurie Strode's daughter's kid. He got mad at her because he liked her or whatever, and like she was getting mad, and she like left him on the neighbor's yard. And all of a sudden he thinks the neighbor comes out, but it's really not the neighbor, it's just Michael Myers. He's like, alright, I'm leaving the yard now. You know, he's like, he doesn't know, I don't think he knows how to get out or something like that. And he tries to climb over the fence, and like, Michael Myers, I think he grabs him by the cape or something, or his cape gets caught on like the fence, and like the fence goes right through his neck. That was pretty cool. It wasn't as cool as the other ones on my list, but I thought that was pretty cool, so I had to mention it on here. So that's going to be in my number 10 spot.
Coming in at number 9 comes from Halloween 6, The Curse of Michael Myers. Is this a great film? No. But is there some cool moments in the movie that stand out amongst the franchise? Yes. And I think that the best moment in this entire movie is the nurse's death in the very beginning. I don't really like the premise of the very beginning. It's like Jamie was impregnated by Michael, and it's just so weird. She has that death scene, which is just super annoying to me. Like, why? Halloween really likes killing off their final girls. It's pretty annoying, but I would be lying if I didn't say that this scene had some crazy atmosphere. And I think that the coolest moment in this scene and in the entire movie is the nurse's death. As I said, Michael Myers, his face, his mask emerges from the shadows perfectly, just like in the original. I think that the only time that they ever came close to mastering that shot in the original, when Michael Myers' mask comes out of the shadows, is in this movie. It's perfect in this scene, and then you get that insane death where he just picks up this woman, this nurse, and just slams her head against the wall spike. It's gruesome, and it's such a cool scene from Halloween 6. Not a great movie, but there is some cool scenes, and I think, in my opinion, this is the best one of them.
My number 9 pick is going to be a very popular scene from Halloween 2018. Now, this is going to be the one long shot when Michael Myers had went from home to home in one consecutive sequence, no camera cuts, and the camera just followed him as he went into home after home after home, just killing people in some of the most brutal ways. And I've never seen anything like that in recent memory in horror or in any genre of film that I watch. It was just so cool, so creative, and quite honestly so unexpected. It's definitely one of the most talked about scenes in Halloween 2018, and we all know that Halloween 2018 is filled with great moments. I'm sure, as of watching this list, you know, we all in agreement that 2018 was amazing, but that one long shot, that sequence was absolutely phenomenal. And I could be wrong on this, but I think the original OG Nick Castle, I believe, did play Michael in some of those shots, I believe, when he was walking. Could be wrong on that, but I think he may have. I'd have to go back and check on that. But so if I'm wrong, you can put it down in the comments. But again, that long panning shot in Halloween 2018, house by house, taking people out. It's so cool. It's so fresh, and I love it. And it's easily my number 9 pick.
Number 9 spot is coming from Halloween 2018 too. At the last scene when Laurie Strode locks him in the basement, and it's like ding ding, and it's like playing the music, I'm pretty sure. And he starts to look up the steps. He's like looking up the steps, and all of a sudden the fire's like all behind him and stuff, and he's still, even when the fire's going, he's looking right at her. Like Laurie Strode, they're all like hugging on each other. They're all looking down the basement, and he's just turning. The spikes are like closing them in. He's just looking up, right at them. He doesn't even care about the fire. He's getting burned, and he don't even care. He's just looking up. I thought that was pretty cool. So that's my number 9 spot. So I'm gonna go to my number 8 spot.
Coming in at number 8 is from Halloween 4, The Return of Michael Myers. There are a lot of scenes that I could have chose from in this movie. It could be the opening credits, although I didn't really want to include opening credits because if I did, this whole list would basically be opening credits like the original Halloween, Halloween 2, Halloween 3, Halloween 2018, Halloween 4. All have just great opening credits. There are just some awesome scenes in this movie, especially the opening is really cool. When Jamie's just in her room and she turns around, she sees Michael Myers sit up from underneath her bed. That's a really cool lit shot, and although the mask is goofy, I still think it's a pretty cool shot. But what is by far the greatest moment in this film, the most memorable moment in this film, and possibly the best moment in the entire Thorn trilogy, is the ending. It's gotta be. You know the bit, it's where Jamie is revealed to basically have killed her mother, and Loomis is just at the stairs, and he's like, no, and Jamie's just got Michael Myers' old killing outfit on, pretty much. She has the scissors above her head. It's just such a great way to end a film. Now, granted, they ruined it in Halloween 5, which you won't be seeing anywhere near this list, but I think that the ending to Halloween 4 is just so iconic, and it's honestly pretty creepy too, that it deserves a spot on this list.
Finding its way into my number 8 slot is going to be again from Halloween 2018, and this is going to be the whole bathroom sequence. It was such a phenomenal scene, such a phenomenal moment. The way Michael goes in that bathroom and just stalks and tortures this poor woman in that stall by dropping the teeth over the stall and beating on the door, and it's just torturing her, but not in a physical way, but just torturing her with just fear and scaring the ever-living shit out of this woman. And then when the guy comes in and how brutally he gets taken out, that whole sequence, it's brutal, it's fun, it's fast-paced, it's bloody, and of course, my favorite part of the whole sequence, how it leads and it all trickles into one of the greatest moments in the franchise, in my opinion, is when Michael gets to don his awesome William Shatner, the Shape mask once again, when it looks weathered and withered, and he puts it on for the first time when he pops that trunk. And oh man, that's when you know it's like game on, right? Like the switch has been flipped, Michael is back, and it's on. It's just on. When he puts that mask back on, I love that. The whole sequence and leading up to him getting his mask back, absolutely amazing, and had to make my list.
Coming at my number 8 spot would have to be from Halloween 2 when Michael Myers is walking through the hospital and the one nurse is just standing there, and he goes up behind her with the scalpel, and he picks her up. Like, he stabs her, picks her up. He's dead silent. He just picks her up, and he's just, like, above the floor, and he just picks her up, and he's like looking straight at the camera, and he just pulls the thing out, and she drops to the floor and keeps on walking like it's nobody's business. He stabs her, drops her, and keeps on walking. I don't know, I thought that scene was so cool, and that kind of shows you how strong Michael Myers is, because guys, the Lydia scalpel is like, I'm pretty sure it's like that big. Stabs her, lifts full body weight up with that little ass scalpel, and just drops her. I thought that was so awesome, guys. So I'm gonna go to my number 7 spot.
Coming in at number 7 is one that honestly surprises me, because this is my second favorite film in the entire franchise, and this is the only scene that makes it onto the main list. But that comes from Halloween 3, this season of The Witch, and it's the montage, basically. It makes no sense time-wise, because, you know, there's time zones and stuff, but it's basically the montage where you get all those kids in all these different places in the country, LA, Seattle, New York, Chicago, and it's just basically playing over the Silver Shamrock commercial. It's like, don't forget the big giveaway at 9, you get the iconic Silver Shamrock jingle that they have, and it's just this awesome montage, especially when it gets to the bit in Phoenix, Arizona, I believe it is, where it's just the silhouettes of the kids in these Halloween 3, that's what they call the masks, apparently, that's what the internet tells me, in the Halloween 3 masks, basically, just all silhouetted. It's on the mountains, pretty much. It's so cool. It's such an eerie, atmospheric shot and moment. It's one of the best moments, and the best montage, at least, in the entire Halloween franchise, and it comes in at number 7.
Number 7 on my list of the greatest moments in the Halloween franchise is going to be the nurse's death in Halloween 2. I think it's such a cool, not only a cool death scene, but the way it's shot. So obviously Michael comes up behind this nurse and he has a scalpel, and he sticks it right in her back, like maybe like in her spine, and he literally lifts her off of the ground. She's elevated in the air with this scalpel dug into her back. Again, Michael showing his brute strength. All the while you get this long shot down the hallway as Laurie is helpless to just watch this nurse just get completely eviscerated with this amazing kill, and her shoes fall off, and you have the over the shoulder, I think it's over the shoulder, I don't think it's POV of Laurie just seeing this happen down that long stretch. Such a great kill, really is showing Michael's strength and him as a badass and as a frightening character. Good kill, great shots, loved everything about it, had to make the list.
Coming in on my number 7 spot is the opening scene when Michael Myers is a young kid, and like I think he just kills his sister, and he walks outside the house, and like he's just standing there, and like he's like Michael, what did you do, or whatever, and he like pulls the mask off, and he's just a little ass kid, and has like that first person point of view in the beginning. I just thought that was a cool last scene. I don't know, and I like the way he looked. He had that little clown mask, and he just like pulled it off, and he has the knife, it's all bloody, he's just standing there like he's shocked. So I don't know, that really was like our first ever like look at Michael Myers, so it had to be on the list.
Coming in at number 6, yet another one from Halloween 2018, that is the gas station scene. The gas station scene, I think, is just the most standout scene from this film. This film is honestly top 3 Halloween movies for me, and this is just the best scene. It's the most memorable, and it's just the best scene in the movie. You get the two podcasters, Dana and Aaron, they gotta fill up their car with gas, and Dana just has to go to the bathroom. So she goes into the bathroom, and while she's doing that, Aaron is kind of looking around this gas station pretty much. It's kind of like a car stop, like a wrecked truck stop. They fix trucks around here, they do mechanical operations. I know that there's a word for it, I'm just blanking on what it is. But yeah, he goes around, he sees a couple dead bodies, and you got that iconic scene, which is in the trailer and everything, of Michael Myers walking up into the women's bathroom, dropping the teeth down, and then just dragging Dana under the stall door, and you get that awesome fight once Aaron busts in. They just have this insane bathroom fight scene, which I feel like is kind of reminiscent of the Joe Grizzly fight scene in the remake. And of course, it's all capped off with possibly the greatest shot in the movie, possibly even the greatest shot in the entire franchise, when Michael Myers goes out to the back of the car and he takes his mask, and finally, after 40 years, he puts his mask back on. This scene honestly could have been ruined, it could have been so bad, but I think that they just did the absolute best that you can possibly imagine. This scene is freaking amazing, and it comes in at number 6.
Number 6 for me is going to be from the original 1978 Halloween film, and this is going to be quite a little subtle scene when Laurie looks out her window, and it's the very first time she sees Michael in the flesh. When she looks out her window and she sees him standing in like in someone's backyard or maybe like a garden, but when they have the sheets pinned up on the lines outside, and he's standing there as the wind blows in the sheets, just looking up at her, just emotionless, just staring at her. I love that scene simply because, you know, the subtleness of it, right? Like, it didn't need a whole lot of smoke and mirrors to look cool. It didn't need blood and guts. It didn't need, you know, this amazing, you know, hype or anything. All it needed was him to stand there looking at her, because again, in 1978, this scene was creepy as hell. I mean, it's still creepy today, but of course this scene I don't think would have the impact that it had back then, you know, that it would today, that it did back then. But I love that scene, the subtleness of it, the fact that it's in broad daylight, and the fact that so many movies have tried to replicate scenes of, you know, the clothes on the you know, pinned up on the line, and there's jump scares and all this. It didn't need to be a jump scare. It was just a subtleness of him staring at her and them, you know, locking, well, I guess eyes. I mean, you only see Michael's eyes, but locking eyes for the first time. Creepy, cool, fantastic. Had to make the list.
My number 6 spot, it is the 2018 closet scene. I thought that was so cool. He's like, oh, there's a boogeyman in my closet. I think that's what's happening. And then she's like, no, it's not. And she like she slams the door, and it's like not shutting. She slams it again, it's not shutting. She slams it again, it's not shutting. She's like, what? And she opens it up. Michael Myers is just standing there, like super tall. He's like in the closet with a knife. He's just standing there, and like, I don't know. You really get to see how Michael Myers looks in that movie. He looks so badass. It's like rotten mask, jumpsuit. He's just standing there, like I don't know. And like it's scary because the girl was literally slamming the door against him. I don't know. I thought it was so cool. So yeah, guys, my number 6 spot. I'm gonna go to my number 5 spot. So yeah, let's get right to it.
Coming in at number 5, and this one might just be for me, but that comes from the classic Halloween, and that is the scene where they see Michael Myers behind the bush. This is easily the most nostalgic scene in the franchise for me, because it is the first time that I actually saw a horror movie killer while watching a movie. Obviously, I'd seen pictures and stuff of Freddy and Chucky and Jason and all them, but this is the first time where I actually got to see a killer, a horror villain, in his full outfit, his trucker outfit, the mask, everything that makes Michael Myers the iconic figure that he is today in horror. This is the first time that I ever saw Michael Myers, a horror villain, in a horror movie. Halloween, as I've said multiple times before, is the horror movie that got me into horror. I had seen Jaws previously, but I mean, people argue that that's not really a horror movie. I mean, it is, but it's just a great white shark. This is the first time that I actually saw a main, big, hulking villain like Jason or Leatherface or Freddy. This is the first time I ever actually saw one while watching a movie, and just because of that, it comes in at number 5.
And here we are at number 5 out of my picks, and it is going to be the ending sequence, specifically the very ending of the Halloween 2018, yep, there it is again, Halloween 2018 ending. I've talked even on my channel how much I love the ending of this movie. The 3 generations kicking ass together, having each other's back, beating the shit out of Michael. I love all that stuff. Happy Halloween, Michael. Boom, knocking him down the staircase. I love all that. Setting it up on fire. The bars, that cross. I love all that stuff. It's all cool. But again, and this is very reflective to my number 6 pick of just this cold stare of Michael when he's standing at the bottom of those stairs. Now this time he's not standing, in someone's garden or someone's backyard, or in the trees outside. He literally is standing in fire. He is engulfed in flames. He is surrounded by fire, and he is just staring at Lori and her family, just intently staring at them, knowing he's gonna get them. He's gonna get them. You know what I mean? Maybe in Halloween Kills, he's gonna get them, and he's not paying any attention to the fire. He's completely emotionless as he stares at them as the fire burns, and you see the glow off of the actors, and I just absolutely love it. It's absolutely phenomenal. It had to make the list.
For my number 5 spot would have to be from Halloween 2, when the one nurse, I think, is getting ready to go in the bath or whatever, something like that, and like he comes up behind her, grabs her by her head, and he drowns her in the water, and he keeps on lifting her up, and her face is like all boiling off and stuff because the water was so hot. I remember, I think he turned up the heatness of the water. He just kept on putting her in, taking her out, and she was like all melting, putting her in, taking her out. I thought that was so cool, guys. So yeah, I'm gonna go to my number 4 spot. Yeah, I'm gonna go to my number 4 spot.
Coming in at number 4 comes from Rob Zombie's Halloween 2, and that is, I think, in my opinion, the most emotional kill in the entire franchise, and possibly the most emotional kill in the entire really big 3 when you think of Halloween, Nightmare on Elm Street, and Friday the 13th. This, in my opinion, is probably the most emotional kill in it, and that is Annie's death. So Annie was played by Danielle Harris, who honestly wasn't even that great of a character. I mean, I think in my opinion she was better than the original Annie, but she wasn't really the main character, at least in the first one. But her death scene, the way that Rob Zombie did it, was so well done. Having Brad Dourif playing her dad, and just having Brad Dourif just have this emotional breakdown in front of all the police after seeing Annie's body. It is such an emotional moment. It's a performance that not only does this movie not deserve, but the entire franchise really doesn't deserve it. It's possibly the greatest performance in the entire franchise, possibly, as I said, with the most emotional bit, possibly the best performance in really all of the big horror franchises like Nightmare on Elm Street, Friday the 13th, Texas Chainsaw Massacre. It's such a good scene. It's so well acted. It's so well directed. Everything about the scene is perfect, and it comes in at number 4.
Number 4, here we are. So number 4 for me is going to be what set off Michael Myers, the beginning of Michael becoming what he is, and it started everything off. It's the POV shot of Michael killing his sister in the original classic Halloween film. It's such a long, drawn-out scene of him walking up the stairs. And again, the POV shot, it's been done a million times, and I'm sure it's been done before Halloween, but, it certainly wasn't done as much as it is now, just simply because there's, millions of more movies since 78. But it was just such a unique shot, and I still love it to this day. The way they shot it, the way they dragged it out, the way they paced it, and him, her just brushing her hair, and she's just singing. I don't know if she was singing or humming, minding her own business, and turning around to see her brother with the knife in his hand. You know what I mean? And him just killing her through his eyes. I mean, oh my God! It's what set the Halloween franchise into motion, right? It's Michael's first victim. It's everything. It's the way it was shot, the way it was done, what it means, what it represents. And if you saw this movie when I did, when as young as I was, also a topless girl. So hey, I'm just putting it out there. If this gets edited out, I'm sorry, but I'm just putting it out there. So that's why this had to make my list, and I absolutely love that scene to this day. Had to make my top 5.
My number 4 spot would have to be from Halloween 3, Season of the Witch, when the kids, there was the one kid who was wearing the pumpkin mask, and his parents were staying in a room, and they were all watching the scene, they were watching the TV or whatever, and what happens in Halloween 3, the scene song plays and stuff, and plays a little song, and if you're watching it, your face will start to melt or whatever, and he's just watching it, and all of a sudden he drops to the floor, and there's a snake coming out of his mouth, bugs all over the place, his face is all melting and stuff, his parents are dropping to the floor, there's bees everywhere, rats. bugs, ants, like all this like nasty stuff is like all around the room and stuff. I don't know, I thought that was so cool. So yeah, guys, I'm gonna go to my number 3 spot.
Coming in at number 3, now this one might be ranked controversially low for some people, despite the fact that it's at number 3 in the greatest moments in the entire franchise. But that comes from the original Halloween, and that is, of course, it's the opening, isn't it? It's the opening. It's possibly the most classic moment in the entire franchise. It's the opening. It's the opening to Halloween. You all know what it is. It's Michael Myers as a little kid. It's all in point of view. You get him putting on the mask, grabbing the knife, and stabbing his sister multiple times over and over and over. You get the weird thing of him like kind of like looking back to check his form and keeps stabbing her, looking back again, stabbing her, and then he walks outside, the parents show up, take off the mask, you reveal it's a little kid. It is such a great way to open a film, such a great way to open a franchise. It made it onto my list of the top 10 greatest horror openings of all time, and it's number 3 on this list. It's such a classic, iconic scene. As I said, possibly the most iconic scene in the entire franchise, and it comes in at number 3.
Number 3, here we go again, Halloween 2018. This is going to be the backyard scene with the motion capture lights with Oscar. Now, I know this scene is so highly talked about because let me tell you, when it comes to suspense, I don't think there's another pick on my list, personally, that had as much suspense and like gripping your seat just watching, because you knew Oscar was gonna get got. You knew that was coming. But man, the way he dies and the way it leads into it with the lights and him just getting closer, oh my god. This scene, I remember watching this in the theater and I was just like at the edge of my seat, like, man, I had a smile, I'm like, oh man. And Oscar possibly gets the most brutal death in the whole film. The way he goes out on the iron gate, oh my god, oh, I'm thinking about it right now. Oh my god, it's brutal. It's absolutely brutal. Don't take my little stupid thing there in case you don't know what I'm talking about. Go watch the movie because that little thing I just did there was completely stupid. Go watch the film and you'll know what I'm talking about. It's absolutely phenomenal, and of course ends off with Allison seeing Michael and she realizes he's real. So yes, of course, that scene is freaking phenomenal, and I'm sure it's not the first time you're gonna see it on this video.
My number 3 spot would have to be from Halloween 1. When Michael Myers was like, when he was walking up the steps and the one guy, I'm pretty sure his name was Bob or something like that. Yeah, I don't know if his name was Bob. I think it was. He's like in the hallway. And he stabs him through the door. He literally just stabs him through the door, and he's like I can't breathe, and he's like just pinned against the wall, and Michael Myers is just staring at him, and he turns his head at him, he's just like against the wall, and the guy's just like literally staring with a big knife in his stomach. I thought that was so cool, and that was like in the first movie, so you gotta give him props for those type of things. Like early on in like the movie franchises, they don't really like do that good or whatever. People like them because they're like, I don't know, like just like good that way because they're like older. But yeah, that was like super cool for the time it was, and for Halloween 1, that it's better than like most of these movies that are like nowadays. I thought it was pretty cool, so I have to put that to my number 3 spot.
Coming in at number 2 comes from Halloween 2, and that is the ending. The ending to Halloween 2 is just so cool. It's, oh my god, it's awesome. Halloween 2 is kind of a slow movie. It's got a little bit of slowness to it. There's scenes that kind of drag on, but that all changes with the ending, especially the very ending scene. It's a scene where Michael is basically going after Laurie and Loomis in the hospital room, and Laurie shoots out Michael Myers' eyes. You get that awesome bit of him bleeding out of his eye holes down his mask, and then you get Loomis saying, "It is time, Michael," and blows up the entire freaking room. It is so awesome. Just that will be enough to make it on this list, but what elevates it so high is of course the bit where Michael Myers emerges from the flames, completely set ablaze, and he's just walking down the hallway. He looks so menacing, so intimidating. It's easily the most intimidating Michael Myers has ever looked in the entire franchise and possibly ever will look. It's awesome, and it is the second greatest moment in the entire Halloween franchise.
Getting to the nitty gritty here with number 2. Now, I had said that number 2 is one of my most memorable moments from the franchise. This is a scene that I remember when I was a kid. I will never forget this, and in rewatching it several times as an adult, I still love this scene so much. And that is the ending to Halloween 4. When Loomis sees Jamie at the top of the staircase with the knife covered in blood, and he sees the evil again that he saw in Michael, and he knows that the evil is still alive and it's in Jamie. And I'm not even going to try to attempt it, but Donald Pleasance and his acting, first of all, as Dr. Loomis, is just iconic and amazing, but his acting when he's screaming no, and he's backing up and he draws the gun, man, he draws the gun on her, he's got the gun up, and the cop grabs him, he grabs it, no, you know what I mean? Oh my God. When Loomis sees the evil in Jamie, that scene is iconic. It's absolutely phenomenal, and it was almost my number 1 pick. Almost. I went back and forth on this one, but it ended up coming in at number 2.
Number 2 spot would have to be from Halloween 4. It's when he gets the shotgun and he like shoves it up the I think it was a girl or a guy, I forget which one. And he just shoves it through her and he like busts it right through the door. And so literally, he's so damn strong. You shove the whole shotgun. He didn't even. I think he shoots it when he's like in it. I think he like shoves it and then he shoots it, but I'm not sure. I think he just shoves it in there, and he just like pinned it or something with the shotgun. That was just so cool. I like Halloween 4. I think Halloween 4 is really good. The mask, it's not so good, but if you guys watch the movie, you can understand why it doesn't look that good. But yeah, I'm gonna go to my number 1 spot.
But coming in at number 1, the greatest scene in the entire Halloween franchise comes from Halloween H2O, and in my opinion, that is the ending stretch. The ending stretch in Halloween H2O is so good. This movie isn't perfect, it's not the best in the franchise, it certainly has its flaws, but the ending is so freaking good. I think, in my opinion, this is by far the best Laurie Strode you get in the entire franchise, whether it's in Rob Zombie's movies, the original movies, the 2018 movie. This is the coolest, most badass, and just the best Laurie Strode there is, especially in this last act. She tells her kids basically to drive off, go somewhere safe, and she just grabs an axe from somewhere on the college campus, which is a weird setting for a Halloween movie, but I don't think it really matters because the ending is just so cool. She grabs the axe, she just goes, she fights Michael Myers, she stabs him with a flagpole, they go flying off a balcony, and of course, it leads to the ending. Laurie Strode taking that axe and freaking chopping Michael Myers' head straight clean off. It is so awesome. If Halloween Resurrection didn't exist to completely ruin this entire ending, this would have been possibly the most perfect ending to a horror franchise ever. You can't get much better than this. It is so freaking cool. Laurie Strode finally going on the attack, finally facing up to her brother, in this timeline at least. It is such a cool scene. It is amazing. And in my opinion, it is the best scene in the entire freaking franchise.
And there's probably no surprise here. It's going to be Halloween 2018 grabbing the number 1 spot for me on my list, and it's going to be in the beginning of the film when the podcasters, investigators, victims show up to the asylum with Michael Myers' mask. The whole scene is just done perfectly. The lighting and the tension when the guy approaches Michael and he opens that bag, and as soon as he grabs that bag flap and he goes to open it, the music kicks in. The wind starts to whisper, and the whole atmosphere of the whole scene completely just shifts, and it's so ominous and it's so well done that when he pulls that mask out, he's holding it up to Michael and he's saying, "You feel it, like you can feel it, can't you, Michael?" and all that stuff. And he's holding up that mask man, and the inmates start going nuts, and the dog is barking, and the wind is whispering, and again, like I said, the music, man, the tempo, everything is just kicking up, and it's a creepy, atmospheric feeling that they really got to capture with this scene. And the reason I love it so much is, as you can see from my background, or if you watch my channel, I love movie props, I love items, and Michael Myers' mask is one of the most iconic things in horror. So when he's holding that mask up, it instantly makes you think about the legacy of that mask. Everything he's done in that mask, all the films, everything, just everything that Michael Myers is, everything that the Halloween franchise is, that is the symbol of the Halloween franchise. And to see it again after all those years in 2018 in the great state that they were able to do it in, it had to be my number one pick.
Number one spot would have to be from Halloween 2. It's when Laurie Strode shoots him in the eyes, the blood starts dripping down his eyes, and everybody thinks like, oh, let's go, he's all done, he's all good, and then like the whole place starts burning on fire, and she's like standing behind like, I think like a little like metal crate or whatever. She's just looking back, and like the music starts playing, he's like burning on fire, he's just walking straight through. And after like the first time you ever watch that movie, you're like, oh damn, he's still not gonna die, but then all of a sudden he just drops. But it was so cool that like even he got burned, he got shot in the eyes, he's still going forward. Like that shows you how strong Michael Myers is. So yeah, guys, that's my my top 10 list of the best moments in the in Halloween's franchises. So yeah, guys, thank you so much for James for having me on this video. Like I always say, guys, watch horror movies, stay safe, and I'll see you guys next time.
Thanks for watching our ranking on the top 10 greatest moments in the entire Halloween franchise. Let us know what other franchises you want to see us do this list with in the comments down below, whether it be Friday the 13th, Nightmare on Elm Street, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Leprechaun, Final Destination, anything you would like, you saw, who knows? Any franchise you would like to see us do this with, leave it in the comments down below, and we'll probably take your request. So thank you for watching this video. Let me know what your thoughts on it were, and let me know your ranking on the top 10 greatest scenes in the entire Halloween franchise. Mine was pretty controversial, I feel. I included a lot of scenes from movies that people might not necessarily enjoy, but I think that they all deserve a placement on this list. So yeah, as I said, let me know your ranking in the comments down below. You can subscribe to all of our channels, they'll be linked in the description down below, and you can also follow me on Instagram at James from Wanna Play if you would like to. You don't have to though, as I always say. So thank you for watching, goodbye, and good night. Bang!